Russia and China say Iran has every right to peaceful use of nuclear energy. Russian President Dmitry Medvedev and his Chinese counterpart Hu Jintao made the comment as they signed a joint declaration in Moscow. The two leaders have also said they oppose foreign interference in the ongoing uprisings in the Arab world. They have insisted foreign states should let change take place through legal and political procedure. Medvedev and Hu Jintao have also expressed concern over the situation in Libya and called for an end to hostilities there. Now, to discuss this further, joining us via Skype all the way from San Jose is Professor William Beeman. He's with the University of Minnesota. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV, Professor. And first of all, how significant is the support of Russia and China at this point in time?
Well, if you remember, Russia had a long-standing relationship with Syria during the Cold War. And I think that there are a lot of people who are of a particular generation who still remember their ties with Moscow. This support is actually, I think, a very important. It's a very important factor in this particular situation. China is something new, and the Chinese are always looking for new economic and trade relationships with the rest of the world. And I think that the situation there with China is novel, and it is an unusual situation for the Chinese to get mixed up with any political situation. They've been politically neutral in general.
All right, so how far could Iran's continued cooperation with the IAEA, coupled with moves such as this in respect to China and Russia, both go in terms of settling the dispute with the West that has so far taken a very hostile approach with Iran?
Well, if you remember that Russia and China have never been in favor of sanctions against Iran, they've continually, in their press and in their diplomatic relations, they've continually said that they felt that Iran posed no danger at all. That they were convinced that Iran's activity in the nuclear area were confined to the production of electricity. So this represents their rather continual position with regard to this. And there's no question that in solving the disputes between Iran and certainly the United States and the West, there's a great need for a mediator. And Russia and China are prepared to serve as that mediator. They're clearly not going to go along with any further United Nations sanctions.
Right. Now, earlier we did report that Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has shown willingness to go back to negotiations with the P5+1 with regards to Iran's nuclear energy program. With this sort of support being shown by Russia and China, will this provide a further impetus?
Well, let me point out to you that the last time Russia and China were persuaded to go along with Security Council sanctions against Iran, which were very ineffective and very minor. The United States actually did something, and the European powers did something which made the Russians and the Chinese extremely angry. That is, as soon as the UN sanctions were enacted, then the Europeans enacted a separate set of sanctions that were stronger than what China and Russia had agreed to. And I think that the Chinese and the Russians were very upset about this. They felt that the Europeans had done an end run around them. And so, as I said before, I think that they're not going to be involved with that kind of a game again. And there's no question in my mind at all that there needs to be a dialogue with Iran. There needs to be people actually talking to Iran. And Russia and China have good relations with Iran. They can serve as mediators. But probably nothing's going to happen until the United States finds a way to actually talk to the Iranian government. Right now, there is no diplomatic relations between the United States and Iran. They negotiate everything through the media, and this is a non-starter. Not only that, but there's been an important change here in the United States in recent weeks. We've had lots and lots of reports that state very, very clearly that Iran's Iran is not a nuclear danger to the rest of the world. One particularly important report came out in the New Yorker magazine by Seymour Hersh, who pointed out that in the United States and with the latest national intelligence estimate, Iran is not seen to be producing any kind of militarized atomic weapon. So this has been widely reported in the press, widely debated, and I think that right now that thinking people are completely convinced that all of the attempts to try to portray Iran as a nation developing nuclear weapons is really a false claim.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there and see how this develops. That was Professor William Beeman with the University of Minnesota joining us from San Jose via Skype. Professor, many thanks for your insight here on Press TV.